You should release your music on vinyl LP. Hi, I'm Ulf at HoboRec Recording Studios. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about why I think you should consider releasing your album on vinyl. You don't necessarily have to release it on vinyl, but you should plan out to release it on vinyl. And there's three big reasons to why. The first and most obvious reason to plan it out is because maybe one day you will release it on vinyl, and then you will have to consider some formatting. For example, you can fit like 22 minutes of music per side on a regular LP on 33 RPM. So your album shouldn't be longer than about 40-45 minutes. And that's a pretty good length for an album. You shouldn't go longer than that. An album longer than 45 minutes should have a really good reason to be longer. And in that case, you can make a double vinyl. And if you think it's really important to make the album longer than 45 minutes, then the issues of pressing a double vinyl is not such a big problem. The second reason, which is also a big benefit, is also a matter of formatting. You have to consider the order of the songs when you plan out the songs, like your first, second, blah blah blah. And I think that's the hardest part when planning out an album, to decide on the order of the songs. But one thing that makes this a lot easier is that you have an A side and a B side. So you actually have two shots of making a really good first impression. You have the first song on the A side and you have the first song on the B side. Both those songs should be a really strong song. You should consider both of them like an opening song for the album. And even if you don't release the album on vinyl, it's a really good thing, because then you will keep a natural, like a dramaturgic curve, or what do you call it? They talk about that stuff in movie making. You will keep some sort of natural tension if you start out with a really, doesn't necessarily have to be the strongest song, but a song that really catches the listener. And then you go for a little journey, and then in the middle of the album you have a really strong song again. And the same thing, you have the last song is also something to consider. Not only like in an arrangement wise, but also the last song on each side of the vinyl are a little bit more sensitive to distortion. A lot of old records have like a softer song that is not that saturated with stuff in it. You don't have to do that, but you have to consider that the last song might distort a little bit more. So either you put a song that you want to be a little bit dirtier, or a softer song that doesn't have that much stuff going on, so it's not that sensitive to distortion. But yeah, like thinking out the order, even if you don't release it on vinyl, thinking like you will release it on vinyl will give the order of the songs, give them a really interesting sort of journey from the beginning to the end of the B-side. And the third and most obvious reason is that it looks really cool. For me personally, I'm not a fidelity nerd when it comes to vinyls. I'm not saying that vinyl sounds better than digital, or sounds better than CD, or better than streaming, or whatever. For me, it's more like the format of the vinyl makes me appreciate the music a lot more. It becomes sort of a ritual to put the album on the player and just listen through it from the beginning to the end. I'm kind of a restless person, so I really easily get distracted when I'm listening to like Spotify or other streaming services, that I listen to a couple of songs and then I sort of just want to hear something else. So there's too much to choose from. When I put on an album, it's, as I said, like a ritual, and I really dedicate my listening in that situation. And the sales statistics for vinyl are going up rapidly last couple of years, so there are actually a marketing aspect to actually releasing your music to vinyl as well. It's important to, I mean, a lot of people don't even think in the terms of releasing albums anymore. It's releasing singles and songs more as a content. But even if you do that, you can, when you have a bunch of songs, you can combine them into an album and release that as a vinyl. And when you do that, you should consider releasing it as a vinyl LP, even if you're not actually doing it, because of the formatting and how you arrange the songs and stuff like that. And I also want to jump in and do some dirty commercial here. I have my own band, Graceful Fall, released this vinyl a bit more than half a year ago, and this was a really passion project of mine. We recorded everything on analog tape, recorded everything on tape, mixed it in the analog domain, and I went to the vinyl cutting master facility at Atlantis Studios And we cut the lacquer directly from the master tape, so if you buy this vinyl and listen to it, you will hear music that never passed the computer at any stage. Doesn't make the album any better, but it's a cool thought. And the cover is pretty cool. You see the name is printed in high gloss, so you can't see it if you don't turn it to the lights. And the artwork is made by a good friend of mine, a Frenchman who now lives in Canada, David. And I will put a link to his Instagram in the description if you want to check out his artworks. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again next week. Bye bye. Cheers!